break. We will come back very, very shortly.
control on Looney. Then Method Black will close out this game.
Battlemaster's going to fall. Battlemaster's going to fall.
Ball drops. Kidney shot on Blinzo. Massive damage and Method Black does it. Big takedown.
Entirety of both teams, honestly. Chun-Li at the preemptive diffuse magic, but they're just so far behind. Greggy can't do anything. He has no cooldowns left. If Snuts is able to connect one more kidney shot, well done, the Shadow Stone. The kidney shot, and Snuts is in the top 3.
Don't you ever put Snuts on the bench again!
Hey everybody, and welcome back. We've got those answers for the question of the week that you guys answered on the WoW Esports Twitter. And just as a reminder, that question this week was, what have you enjoyed most in the AWC season so far? And let's see what those answers were on Twitter. Just kidding, we don't have those answers just yet, but that is the question. So you may have a little bit more time here to get those answers in, and definitely check us out on WoW Esports. There's going to be more of those to come as well. Get some fan engagement here. But let's talk about this series that we've got coming up here right now. Winner of this one moving on to the grand finals, and the loser dropping down to face to get off against OTK. Both of these two teams, number 1 and number 2 seed, heading into this finals for North America here, Zico. And it's just another one of those series that really I don't think we could predict the winner very easily.
Yeah, no, it's these two teams are, neck and neck. They've been the entire season, and these two teams, Cloud9, I like to call them the old gods. They were the team, throughout BFA. They were the mage lock. You did not want to play against them. In Legion, they were deadly, and then they kind of fell off a little bit here in Shadowlands in the beginning. They're having a couple of weaker, appearances. Even one of the cups they didn't qualify to, but then the circuit rolled out, and we started seeing, some of the changes come to the game. A few more warlock-based compositions available to them, and all of a sudden we started seeing that old Cloud9 again. And the team that has been dominating that whole time, it's been Method and A, of course. So it's kind of the new gods versus the old gods.
Okay, well, excited to get this one started, and I think now we are joined once again by Healing Stat. How have you been doing? How have these games been for you?
I mean, it's always one of my favorite series to watch, right? When you see Cold Guardians and OTK come out, it's actually so painful that we have to say goodbye to one of those teams so early on in the tournament. But I mean, still off of the rush of that one, now we've got two teams that knock them down there, who just have been some of the very best in the whole of North America, right? So it just doesn't really get it. Every single team in this tournament is just so crazy good.
And we got everybody's prediction on these four teams for who we thought would win for this region, but I want to hear yours, Healing Stat. Who's your favorite to win this one?
This is going to be a really good series. I mean, for me, I think the two teams here, they've just been kind of dominant. I think it was Cloud9 who were able to get the best of them in the circuit. So I think I probably have to put my favoritism that way, but honestly, it's whoever brings out their A game during the day. Both of these guys have crazy compositions. They have quite different strategies, to be honest. Like one of them super favored toward the Holy Paladin Mage, and then often melees coming in. But then Cloud9, we could see some pretty damp compositions coming in from them, I suspect.
Yeah, we will see what they do decide to bring out. It's kind of a toss-up with Cloud9 these days. I feel like we always used to be able to predict very easily what they were going to play, but as of late, I mean, they've really been diversifying their composition pool, so they're definitely going to be giving Method NA a run for their money here. But I mean, both of these teams had a very fantastic circuit season. Both of their match records, they were 6-1, so they only lost one series. Both of the two teams only lost one series in the entire circuit. That's 4 cups. Then so just completely dominating performance from both of these guys, and we will find out very shortly here in 5 games or less who will be moving on to the grand finals. It's game number 1, Cloud9 versus Method NA.
Last time they fought each other,
yeah, the one loss was this.
Well, I was about to say the last time they fought each other was Mage Warlock versus Rogue Mage Paladin, and that was with Drake on the Rogue. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I was not impressed with Drake on the Rogue. I'm impressed with Drake on the Warrior. I'm impressed with Drake in general, especially on his Windwalker, of course. But Drake Rogue, I didn't like the Drake Rogue that much. So now I want to know, has Drake been practicing that rogue during these 2 weeks since that final cup? Because this is the big match. Surely he knew they're at some point going to face Cloud9 if they want to win this tournament, and he needs to have something prepared. This is the composition. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it, Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. It's giving me kind of old Colo vibes. I remember when Colo brought out the R Impala, and he was the team that took down Cloud9. I think that was the first team to take down Cloud9 last year. So they're really going back to the roots here. Colo, the master strategist, now Drake looking to follow in those shoes. Is he going to be able to do so? It looks like he's taking the brunt of the exchange so far. But, I mean, I think the recipe to success in this matchup is whether Brain can get across the map and get crowd control on Cubsy, because if the Paladin is able to kind of be in the Druid's face, force pressure with the blinding lights and things like that, that can be a real tell in this matchup. So Cubsy, he's going to be looking to position away, and the war of attrition more likely to go to the Wizards of Cloud9.
Yeah, the last time that these teams met in the circuit, Cloud9 absolutely thrashed Method NA 3-0, like not even close. And they started the series with Mage Rogue as well, and Drake was the main target. The main purpose of this comp, the Mage Lock, is just stop all of the advances of Ceralium and Drake, do a ton of damage to Drake, run Brain out of mana, win game, and move on to the next one. So I'm actually surprised Method NA picked the same matchup that they already just got absolutely owned by. Like, it wasn't even close, and it's not looking close here either in the repeat. Infernal Stun out of the Rake Stun. Tons of damage coming in from the entirety of Cloud9, and Drake trades out Trinket and Cloak of Shadows on 10% health, now blinding Cubsy and trying to create some momentum on Chanimal. Dragon's Breath on Wealthy Man. Cubsy going to break out of blind. We're going to begin to recover. We see Fleshcraft trying to immune the Hammer of Justice from Brain, but Brain held onto it, didn't fall for the bait. Now Cubsy repositions. Cubsy wants to be nowhere near any sort of crowd control or engagement from Method NA. Keep your distance. Run the Paladin out of mana. Look for Restel stuns. I love these stuns from Cubsy, really showcasing that feral affinity. The first time we're going to see Resto Druid in the top 4 of North America or Europe, and Cubsy is usually the one to showcase it.
Cubsy is just a master on that Druid. The first time he went in, they got the Trinket, Cloak of Shadows, vanished from Drake. Now they got the Blessing of Protection, and Cubsy even stunned the Trinket. Rare mistake from Cubsy, though. Gets caught up in the sheep here. I didn't see if that was out of anything. I don't think so. I think he's still off stun there, so he's going to get Hammer of Justice out of that one as well. And that's going to be a full one here. Chanimal in a tested situation right now. Gonna go for the Mortal Coil right there, surrounding with the Combustion here as well, doing tons of damage here. Chan, though, porting away here with the Gateway and the Soul Shapes. Cubsy now gonna reconvene with him, and this is what makes Cloud9 such an insane team. In that situation, most Warlocks, they have to use everything, unending resolve, held stones, everything like that. Chanimal just kites away, makes it back to his healer. Cubsy just going there as well, meeting up with him with the Iron Bark and Wealthy Man as well, just snaring everybody, peeling everything up there, and now looking to get very aggressive here with this Ice Form, doing tons of damage on that Frost Mage. It's actually been so fun to watch Wealthy Man on that Frost Mage. He's been having some amazing plays so far, and it's not very often we see Frost Mage nowadays, so it's nice to see it here. And now another stun onto Drake. No Cloak of Shadows for a couple of seconds. Maim stun as well to follow it up. They proc the Save by the Light. Good pressure from Cloud9, but it looks like Drake's going to recover.
Yep, it looks like he will survive, and he's actually turning it. Nice smoke bomb coming in there. That's going to force the Trinket out of Chanimal. He trinkets, ports away. I mean, there's just such high-level plays coming out from both the sides. You've got Wealthy Man on the Frost Mage, snaring Drake, keeping him away from Chanimal, contributing to that kiting that we're seeing from the Warlock of Cloud9, and also Cubsy. I mean, Cubsy has to play a dangerous game here because he is assisting with all those Rake stuns, but every time he does, he exposes himself to crowd control. We can see a full blind coming in now. Brain may well look to push up, but the story of this game so far is the survival of Cloud9. If they can keep this going a little bit longer, you can already see the mana bar on Brain is waning, and that's the win condition for Cloud9.
Let's see if they can keep it going. Trinket is definitely a major objective, but they can't connect during Vendetta. Drake has to connect during this cooldown. He can't even get close to Chanimal. He's just walking it off. Death from above to reconnect, but he's killed. Oh my goodness! He almost died in the air from that trapeze act. That would have been absolutely devastating. Now, stunning up Chanimal, unending resolve trading here for him as Cubsy's in a Hammer of Justice, and they don't want to use Medallion outside of a blind from the Rogue, but this crowd control is still quite high, and the kleptomania of the Mage whenever Cubsy's crowd controlled is devastating. Chanimal on the run, trying to use Curse of Exhaustion, but Drake has Blessing of Freedom, immune to the snare effect. Chanimal is all by himself here behind the pillar in Game 1. Can Method NA steal Game 1 away from Cloud9? They are in such a massive lead in terms of mana, but they're struggling to recover. Chanimal down 30% health. Cubsy going around the corner, gets a Nature Swiftness heal onto Chanimal, recovering with Cenarian Ward, and Drake has to pull away from the Frozen Orb. He can't afford to overextend right now with no Cloak of Shadows. We see Cubsy sneaking in aggressively, jumping into the fight. Drake pre-evasions a stun. Nice play from Drake, immuning that in this position. But Brain is still in a polymorph. Doesn't look like they're able to connect whatsoever here. Cyclone on Brain. They're going to have to try and just get dots out onto whatever they can. Ceruleum's actually out in midfield. They could hit him and just switch some damage over there. They need to make sure Brain doesn't drink. Cubsy's in stealth. He's looking to stun Ceruleum. Stun on Ceruleum. Chaos Bolt to back it up. They're going to crack through the Blazing Barrier here of Ceruleum and just max out their damage. Brain can't drink. Look at the mana. It's dwindling. Drake is trying to get on target, but he gets intercepted by Cubsy, stunning the Blessing of Freedom, preventing his advance. He's going to sprint with that maneuverability, try and stay on target. Cubsy roots him into a bash, and Drake breaks out with a trinket to stun Chanimal and stop the damage, but Wealthy Man is left open. Wealthy Man free casting Frostbolts, gets polymorphed on it. Chanimal porting away. Cubsy caught in a poly. Death from above to reconnect. Chanimal
nice.
on the run. Demonic Gateway right after it. He was patiently waiting, but Shadow Step is available. He reconnects. Cubsy's still in a polymorph. They might pull it off. Hammer of Justice on the trinket. Ironbark needs to be enough for Chanimal to survive, but it might not be enough. Method and A so close to game 1 victory. Cubsy bounces him back to full with a Nature's Lay on Hands. Chanimal is back in it, and here comes a Chaos Bolt with Dark Soul, and Brain responds with Sacrifice. Both these healers with amazing recovery.
Uh-oh, big danger here for Chanimal. He trinkets out, teleports away to safety here. This is going to be very dangerous. Even if he recovers here, there's an opportunity to get smoke bombed. Ceruleum getting crowd controlled here as he's trying to push in. This is going to allow Cubsy to recover Chanimal. But now all they have to do is just kidney shot Chanimal, go for the big smoke bomb play here. But right now Drake wants to hold on to his Cloak of Shadows. There's Sheeps onto Brain. Wealthy Man doing good. Counter pressure. Drake has no trinket. Bubble from Brain. Is it going to be too late? Rake's done into a fear. Chanimal with the Soul Wrath, and Cubsy with the KO. Beautiful game 1 here from Cloud9 and from Method and A. What an insanely close game that was. If they just got that combustion back and they did a kidney shot smoke bomb, they could have easily erased Chanimal there as well. Beautiful stuff.
Okay, Cloud9, game number 1 victory here in this best of 5 series as well. And like I already said, winner of this one moving on to the grand finals. So far, Cloud9 looking very solid in this series, Zico.
All right, so there's a couple of things that happened here. Before, Chanimal had to just use all of his cooldowns right there, and including the Ironbark. So now there's no emergency cooldowns. There's no, Nature Swiftness, Ironbark, anything like that for Chan here. So he had to trinket this kidney shot, which is going to open him up to dying later. But Drake had to use his trinket to get to that situation. Now, this is the mistake right here. Here, he shouldn't greed his Cloak of Shadows. He has Cloak, Vanish. He should go for the Cloak and Vanish, knowing that Cubsy wants to go in and kill him. But instead, he goes in and gets stunned and dies without being actually able to access his cloak. And that's also due to the stun lock that C9 did right there. They got the triple stun and a fear as well. So Chanimal also going for fear there instead of damage, just so he can't use that Cloak of Shadows. So just C9 kind of playing it out perfectly there, but that was super close actually, because they would have probably died right after that.
Okay. So let's see what they decide to do here on the side of Method and A after that first loss. They're going to be locking in that map choice very shortly, and they have chosen Hook Point. What do we think about that, guys?
Well, I think, that game was super close, right? Like, it was crazy. There was a few moments in that game, little interactions. It all really came down to Drake for me. There was the one time where he death from above the death coil from Chanimal, and they almost got the kill because of that. That was such a sick play. Then on the converse, there was the other death from above, which almost became a death while above, whilst he got slain in that one. So it was definitely a game of two sides. And I think the smaller map here is a smart pick from Method NA. I want to see them lock this composition in again. And I completely agree with Zika's analysis at the end of that one. They were so close. They just forced everything from Chanimal. They had this near coup almost killing him. And if they just traded out the cloak or even an earlier Divine Shield on Brain, I would have loved to have just seen them try and push aggressive, because we knew that next smoke bomb really could have been the game. They just needed a couple of damage cooldowns to line up, and this smaller map, it should help them to get to Cubsy and get that crowd control.
And look at that, we are seeing that composition, that Fire Mage Assassination Rogue. In this series so far, Zico, you're talking about Drake on that Rogue. How are you feeling about him now after game number 1?
He's been practicing. He should have cloak vanished, but we'll let it slide. We don't know what's going on in the comms there between him and his healer. So far, he's been doing good, some good stuff. And one thing that I feel like we have to highlight in this matchup is when they actually when that scary situation happened on Channel right before C9 won. That was because Cubsy sat through a blind and he got blinded. He got refollowed up. I think it was a sap, and then he got Hammer of Justice out of that. He trinketed the sap, but he got hammered on his trinket, and it was a very scary situation because of that. But for Cubsy, he has to sit through these blinds until either Vendetta or Combustion or both of those cooldowns are used on Channel. Because if he trinkets a blind and Combustion is available still for Ceralium, they're not going to kill Channel. They're just going to immediately kill Cubsy. When you're playing Mage Lock, there isn't anything like if Drake cloaks and kidney shots Cubsy, that's it. You can't really do anything about that. So if they try to set that up, which I think they will, that's something that we should look out for.
All right, let's see it. This is the game, right? This is game 2 between the two sides. The map choice from Method NA. They really, really, really need this win. Cloud9 has had their number this season. And Drake on the Rogue, he looks like he could be the key to victory if they can just clean up a little bit in this next game, Sid.
All right, Death from Above is an interesting adaptation by Drake. Utilization of the Blessing of Freedom and the Death from Above is going to be important to see if they can get uptime on Chanimal. Easily one of the best Warlocks in the game, if not the best at the moment, and he's one of the hardest ones to actually attack, so I'm very curious to see how they use their mobility. We see the sprint Shadow Step on the gateway, saving the kidney shot. Nice timing by Drake here to hold Chanimal down, but Cubsy's going to use Medallion and have a lot of recovery. We should see Chanimal start to recover, but we could see a swap in the near future to Cubsy if he's not careful. Cubsy's going to stay far away from the engagement. Chanimal's just tanky. Double Shadow Fury! Ooh. Nice Shadow Fury! Beautiful timing here! Coco Shadows at 10%, almost going down. Close call for Drake.
Smoke bomb here now on the Chan. He's gonna use this human ratio, I believe, or maybe he just pre-ported it. But Cubsy now in a Hammer of Justice. Doesn't look like they have. Actually, they have a blinding light here now. Ceralium's pushing in here. Reflect on the combustion there right away, and Wealthy Man of course clips it. Nice sap here though onto Cubsy. Chan might have to use his unnamed resolve here. He's very careful. He activates the Gladiator's emblem trinket right there, trying to fake out some kicks, trying to get something here. Kidney shot now onto Chan. He has no trinket. He just trinketed, and he will go down immediately here to Method NA's assault.
Dude, Death from Above, the
reaction on that was insane, right? Like, how did he get that coil with the Death from Above immediately? Once again, Drake. I mean, they definitely wouldn't have got the kill if he got the heal from the mortal coil there. So crazy good play, and they get the win.
Okay, you know what, Drake? I forgive you, but the cloak vanish thing, forget about that.
Watch it.
Literally point blank. That was insane.
Like, it's a melee range coil. Like, he's right in his face. Channel's expecting, like, I'm going to heal myself, and the Rogue's going to be coiled away, and I'm going to be fine. And Drake's like, nope. I mean, Method NA have definitely practiced this. They're so good at staying on Channel.
Yeah, so here he trinket, teleports away, and Cubsy has already trinketed before they use the Vendetta. But now,
right here.
Okay, so he kicks the fear. Oh, he does it out of the kick, I think. That's how he knows. Like right now, he garrotes. Does he do it out of the garrote? There, yeah.
Yep. Up in the
that is perfect. That is perfect. And then at this point, Dragon's Breath, like it's just enough damage to get him. But this was what we were talking about though before. Cubsy had to trinket, and they still had Vendetta and Combustion. So during this setup, it was Vendetta and Combustion, and actually Chanimal didn't use his Unending Resolve at all.
Mistake, a little bit.
Yeah. Rare mistake.
I think it was just like the unexpected play, right? I mean, this is what's crazy about these games, and we could kind of tell trouble was brewing. I think Zico made a reaction like when we saw the trinket before the Combustion and the Vendetta from Cubsy. So it was like, ooh, this is going to be scary, and then Chanimal not really respecting it. It was kind of an early game, and this is something that Method NA has been so good at. They'll just all in you, right? They'll just go absolutely ham in these moments. All three of them on top, dogpiling. You got Brain there with the blinding light, with the blind, and just like damage as well. I would almost like to see him go vent there or something just to throw even more of the kitchen sink at him, but it seems to be working. Cloud9, though, of course, will be taking us probably somewhere slightly bigger for our vacation in Game 3.
Vacation.
Maybe a
But-
nice desert or something, I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I
Hey,
get it.
Empyrean
I get you
Domain
now.
is like, that's kind of the afterlife vacation. That's kind of rough.
And someone was making fun of me yesterday because my camera is so much light that I like live next to Empyrean Domain. So,
You
Well-
and Maro just constantly in Empyrean Domain.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes Mario so good, though. He's just always adapting to his surroundings. But I feel like one thing that's interesting here is Cloud9 doesn't have to play Mage Warlock. I mean, they probably will this game, but I think if they win this game and we go to a small game, I kind of want to bet you that they will lock in Warrior Mage Paladin blind instead of the Mage Warlock, because I think Warrior Mage, at worst, they get a mirror. Yeah, they're probably gonna just play a Warrior Mage mirror then. I feel like it's a 50-50, so anything can happen in a mirror.
That's the crazy thing about Cloud9. It's like we were talking about it, how they have Chanimal, and that's one thing I actually want to look at if we do see the Chanimal's face cam in this next game. Is that during the games I was looking a little bit in that last one. Drake's talking like a reasonable amount, they're talking about their setups periodically, but Chanimal is just talking. You can tell he's a real leader on their team. And like when you've got experienced veteran players like Chanimal, like Snuts, who have been in these tournaments, they've been at these live events, these online events, they just know exactly that over communicating is so valuable. And I think here was one of the rare times we see a mistake from them. That's why we're so surprised, right, that they die, because these guys normally will never die until they heal a Zoom, or like it's really that ultimatum situation. And I mean, these guys have Chanimal, potentially the best Warlock in North America on their team, but if he isn't the best Warlock in North America, they also have Snuts, who probably before they collected him onto their team was also a contender for that, and now Snuts playing whatever he wants on the Cloud9 roster. It would be interesting to see if they do tag him in the next game, but first they got to prove that they can actually win this matchup on the bigger map. And from game one, I'm not super convinced. I feel like Method NA with a clean game once again here could definitely take this swing match.
All right, let's see if they can. Drake gets found. Oh, that's not a great start here for Method NA. It's a long distance to walk if you're not in stealth. Drake's going to get Blessing of Freedom to try and connect here onto Chanimal. Chanimal just positioning far into the corner, getting ready to... Look how much damage Drake took just trying to get to Chanimal. He hasn't even touched him yet. He's still at half health. Chanimal's cornered now. Is he going to port? He's just running right into the corner, trying to fear Drake, trying to fake an interrupt here. Drake is getting owned by Wealthy Man. Smoke Bomb gets dropped by Drake, making a power play early on here at Game 3. Chanimal portals away and manages to recover through the Vendetta. Drake did an all-in there to try and catch Cloud9 off guard, but Chanimal was ready.
Yeah, that was excellent. They only traded out Chanimal Trinket for Vendetta as well as Combustion
vanish
right there. So now, nice vanish there by Drake. They get the sheep into fear here onto Brain, and now as that fear ends, he can feel safe to reopen here, but Cubsy has to pick up Chanimal here, throwing some life blooms, getting some hots on him. Now kidney shot onto Chanimal. That's going to be Cubsy's Trinket here. So right now, good situation here for Method NA. They got Cubsy's Trinket. They have their Combustion about a minute away, but of course it's going to be less than that. You can see Sazamizy just spamming out those fireballs there in the back line. And of course, the next time they can get a Hammer of Justice on Cubsy into potentially a crowd control, that's when they can set up with that Combustion and try to force that unending resolve. Chanimal already used his human racial to get away from the smoke bomb. So everything is lining up here slowly for Method NA, but the pressure from Wealthy Man can come in at any moment, and that's really they got the Cloak of Shadows right here, so that's pretty good for C9 as well as they look to avoid this next setup. Cubsy and Brain just running around with each other right now. Brain is just trying to hunt him down. Cubsy gets a stealth off, and there's a kidney shot onto Chanimal, but Cubsy's not going to stun Drake with that stealth. He's just going to go out on max range positioning and heal Chanimal, and that's the really difficult decisions that you have to make as a Resto Druid. It's so tough to play at Adrian.
Yeah, it really is. And Chanimal, Cubsy is certainly one of the best. There's a reason that we're seeing very few Resto Druids in this tournament. You have to deal with the Kleptomania from the Mage for all your heal over time effects. You have to be kiting constantly. I mean, if they just get that Hammer of Justice for free, then it's probably going to be disastrous for Cloud9, but Cubsy makes it so difficult, constantly preemptively moving, playing Ring Round the Rosie with Brain, never allowing that crowd control to land for free. And now he's flesh crafting. Did he flesh craft the Hodge? It doesn't look like it. Brain able to hold on to that one, but once again, Chanimal kiting away. And on the other side, Drake gets absolutely obliterated. They set Divine Shield and everything, and that's what you were talking about, that burst damage from Cloud9, and they're able to take a very pivotal game here in this upper bracket finals.
Okay, I mean, that did not look like a fun game for Drake. Just he was getting kited and destroyed the whole game. I am really worried about this for Method NA moving to a game 5. If we get a Tolvaron arena, it's going to be tough. Cloud9's Mage Lock is back. I mean, I don't think we had any question about that after watching the circuit, but it's really back. Wealthy Man is pumping now damage.
Definitely. I mean, well, it's got to be like an ice form shatter or something that killed him there at the end, but we're going to see it right here. Just look at Drake. Stand up. As soon as the replay's even starting, he's just stand up. Frozen Orb is there. Brain has to trinket and use that sacrifice, which is that biggest cooldown that they're going to have. And of course, now Drake has to go and get some counter pressure with that sacrifice. Gets a kidney shot here on the channel mold, but they don't have any crowd control on the Cubsy. Cubsy is literally off screen right now, so Cubsy just able to avoid CC for so long, and then after Channel comes out of the stun, that's when Cubsy can kind of feel safe. They get a sheep here onto Brain. Brain bubbles too late, but that shatter with the flurry there from Wealthy Man just completely deletes Drake.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was basically Brain, I think, got frustrated in this game. Like, he was chasing Cubsy the whole time. Did he land a single Hammer of Justice? I don't think he did. On this big map, it's just so difficult for him. And then ultimately, he ends up spending too much time chasing. Not enough heals on Drake, and they were trading cooldowns to try to stay aggressive. Ultimately, they ran out. The Divine Shield, sure, it was there, but it was too little too late. And I mean, for Cloud9, that's one thing I think that I really like about the Mage Lock in this meta. It's certainly faster than it used to be. Like in the olden days, it was really like, we need 70% dampening to take you down, but now the Warlock can suddenly die. Warlock's suddenly a lot more squishy than they were. But on the flip side of that, Wealthy Man on this Frost Mage, huge shatters, Channel with the Dark Soul. This is absolutely terrifying, and they are one game away from the Grand Finals here, and they're probably feeling pretty good about this one, especially having seen the team that defeated them in the circuit, Golden Guardians, already eliminated earlier today. This is looking pretty good for Cloud9.
I love how fast these drafts are, especially compared to that last series that we had. These teams are making very quick decisions. I don't believe we've had a single delay yet from either of these teams. So, regardless of how things are going on the side of Method NA, despite the fact that they are on match point, they're still confidently locking that comp in and that map. And we are going to be heading to Runes of Lordaeron, Super Tees.
Oh, finally, it's happened. It's here.
Yeah.
Cloud9 versus Method NA, Runes of Lordaeron match point. Thank you.
There it is.
Thank you. Thank you, Method NA. Thank you for this gift. This is a gift that I will cherish for the rest of the day. I think this is the first time the entire championship weekend. So I get to leave with a smile on my face that it happened at least once.
You should screenshot this moment and frame it on your wall behind you. Next year.
And then write in crayon underneath posters. A fitting final resting place.
Yeah.
Put it on my fridge.
He said it. Kept us out of the suspense.
A fitting final resting place, circa 2021 or whatever. I don't know. You gotta label it like
every single time I say it, I take a screenshot, and I have to have every screenshot of it somewhere on the wall. Someone's gonna think I'm like insane if they come in my house and see my wall just plastered with the fitting final resting place pictures.
Well,
it's your signature line. I think it would make sense.
There's three people who I can see in this screenshot right now that we have due to our beautiful graphics package that might disagree with the final resting place rhetoric out of this one. It's a very small map selected for a reason. We'll have to see whether Method NA can pull it off. I mean, the thing is, I feel a little bit frustrated for Method NA because both the times they've lost have been kind of blunders on their side, right? Like the first game we talked about it was the greed with the Cloak of Shadows or the greed with the Divine Shield, depending on the way you want to look at it. And here, game 3, this was also going pretty well for them. It certainly wasn't as good as game 1 or 2, but it was fine. And then they just kind of, maybe it's that, you want to say maybe the inexperience on the Rogue for Drake, overextending when he didn't have any of those cooldowns left, and there was the Dark Soul available. So it was a pretty rough situation for him, and then maybe if they just kind of sat back a little bit, forced Chan to come in, Shadow Step, get the kidney shot, play the game that way, it might have been a better way to play it out. But either way, they're hoping that on the smaller map they're going to be able to take us to a game 5. These are the juggernaut teams in North America right now, and I would love to see a full 5 games out of these guys.
I would as well. Hopefully this isn't the last game for Method NA here before they have to drop down to that lower bracket. That would be a very long day for them. They'd have to face against OTK, win that series, and then back up to the finals for a rematch against Cloud9. So let's see what they can do here. Let's see if they can tie this one up. But it's right now Cloud9 on match point.
I already predicted before coming into this that Cloud9 would win the whole thing, but I feel like whoever wins this series is probably going to be the one to win the whole thing. It's just both teams have a good answer for OTK. Maybe OTK surprises us, right? Like they just got a lot of momentum in the lower bracket winning against Golden Guardians, but my brain is telling me here that the winner of this series is likely going to be winning the whole thing. We can see Drake this time managing to connect to Chanimal, not getting pulled out into that far corner like we saw in the last game. So he's going to get a little bit of uptime here. Brain is hesitant to go over the tombstone, doesn't want to run out into line of sight of crowd control. Ceralium's next to Cubsy. Cubsy's in stealth. Is he going to open up? He opens up on Ceralium. Just denying Dragon's Breath. A Polymorph sneaks in. Mortal Coil, big damage on match point. Drake has to trinket and vanish. That was a close call already for Method NA on match point. They can't afford situations like this much more.
That was an excellent play right there. And now we're going to see Chanimal here responding as well with his teleport to the combustion right there. Wealthy Man strips it off now as well. And shifting power coming out from Ceralium. Actually gets counterspelled into a sheep here by Wealthy Man. Frostbolt's coming out now onto Drake. Cubsy's in stealth. Fleshcraft. Drake trying to pre-immune it, but he gets counterspelled by Chanimal. And now there's the Blessing of Protection coming out from Brain. Now full blind here onto Cubsy, but Chanimal pre-gates the kidney. And Drake right now is so sad that that happened because his blind is most likely going to be wasted here unless he can reconnect here. But no, Cannibal ports away now, fears up Drake. Fears Brain. Mortal Coil on Drake. They stun up Drake. They might just KO Drake. Cannibal is a beast on that Warlock. The way he turned around that situation with his healer out of the game for 20 seconds, but he's still taking massive damage there though. Cubsy, time to heal, bro. You've been in CC for like 30 seconds. But yeah, that was an insane turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see these classes very often, the Warlock, the Frostmage, or the Resto Druid, and these guys are playing out of their mind to combine it into something that looks absolutely devastating, but Chanimal is on the back foot, he teleports away, but he's got to reconnect with his healer, and it's Ceralium who gets there first. Polymorphs on Drake are the only thing keeping him in the fight, as Cubsy will reconnect with the heal. Super close call there. The Nature's Swiftness will swiftly recover the health of Chanimal in what was yet another close call, but they still, they still have a fair few cooldowns. It's been greed on the side of Cloud9, but it's paid off. They have Unending Resolve, they have Trinket, and now they're the ones who will have the offense.
Fear on Brain, stun on Drake. Cubsy's repositioning far in the back line, away from crowd control, looking for these constant re-stealths. They get a lot of damage on Chanimal here, but Cubsy looks like he's ready to deal with it here on the tombstone to the left. Brain and Ceralium next to the center tombstone to the right of it, waiting to make their move, just building up combo points, getting their bleeds up on Chanimal. They really wanted Unending Resolve on that last push, and Chanimal was just greedy, held onto it with good positioning. Now Polymorph on Brain. Drake, the target. Death from above, trying to anticipate some crowd control, likely that Mortal Coil, but Chanimal holds it. Mortal Coil into Druid stun. Could win the game here. There's no Cloak of Shadows and there's no Vanish. Chanimal Trinket ports away from the combustion with another ward, but Drake's in hot pursuit. Cubsy's in a Polymorph. Chanimal trying to kite with Soul Shape and Demonic Gateway, but Drake cuts the corner and takes a shortcut. Ice Nova on Drake, pinning him for a moment as Chanimal is just trying to get back to Cubsy, but Cubsy's still in crowd control here. It looks like Method NA might take this to a game 5. Cubsy with Nature Swiftness available is going to pump it out. Chanimal's back to full. Now Cubsy moving forward in bear form. Fleshcraft from Drake, trying to pre-immune the bash, but Cubsy held onto it. He still has bash. He's waiting for it. He might even go in right now. He's in bear form, walking up to Drake. Bash is available. Drake pre-evasions. Cubsy baits evasion, but now he's fully blinded. I feel like there's no way they can sit this right, but it's not any cooldowns. They need to try to. Cubsy doesn't feel confident sitting that blind. Now it will be Vendetta available. Chanimal has to respect this. If he doesn't use Unending Resolve during this Vendetta, I think that'll be a blunder that costs Cloud9 the game. Maybe they just win,
good
though.
Pressure. Beautiful sheep right there. Wealthy Man blinks in out of that Shadow Fury, triple Shadow Fury from Chan. They're getting aggressive here, not letting the Rogue Mage just reset here at the pillar. Another Sheep here potentially on Brain. Beautiful damage, defensive smoke bomb with that offensive play. And that's the thing, when you're playing this Mage Warlock, you got to go for those offensive plays like that. Try to get the Cloak of Shadows used defensively, try to get the smoke bomb used defensively, so your Warlock lives. Offense is the best defense, and right now Cubsy is looking to get aggressive. Breaks down onto Drake. Big damage here from Wealthy Man. There's the Ice Form, full fear into Brain's trinket.
There it is.
There potentially. No, they get it. There's a kidney shot. This has got to be the unending resolve. This is the vendetta. This is everything.
Surely.
Channel right now being greedy. He has the Iron Bark. He has the Gladiator's emblem, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. That vendetta's still going to be lasting for a long while. Cubs is in a blinding light, and there it is. Finally, Chan is going to go for the trade there. He gets clepted on his heal over time effect. Cubs is in a sap. Was it too late? He's going to gate away back to Cubsy here, and it looks like Cubsy is going to be able to connect, but no, the Battle Master falls, and so does Chanimal. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to Game 5.
This truly is a fitting end to the series, even if it isn't on this map. The fact that we're going to Game 5, I mean, these guys have been absolute titans, right? Cloud9 and Method NA. It would have been an absolute shame if Cloud9 had taken this 3-0, but that's certainly not the end of the tale. Method NA strike back Game 5 in the upper finals.
I think I have some sand in my socks here. I told beer boys.
Yeah, I hope they pack sandals and like some shorts and like
Sunscreen.
Don't
some good
forget
clothing.
the sunscreen, Drake.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah, I mean, Drake, even on this map, like we're talking about it constantly, right? Like Chanimal is kiting so well, and he's able to get these line of sight re-stealths. He's able to kind of play the game a little bit, only a little bit, but it's just about enough on Ruins of Lordaeron. So I definitely feel for him. If we do end up on top, which is quite likely, to see the final moments, Hizzy.
Yeah, and we're going to see here Chanimal using his Infernals right there, just trying to buy himself some time. There is the Unending Resolve. Kleptomania comes out there, and you can see that Battle Master, that little icon right next to his Unending Resolve, is about to fall right now, and he gets that Overgrowth literally as it fell. So if those HOTS just did like one tick, I think Chanimal actually does recover there. There was no Kleptomania. There was no big damage there because Drake was still waddling, trying to reach his target. So very, very close game there. But you got to give it to Method NA as well. They have been practicing this Rogue Mage. I like this team because they make so much preparations. You know, you can tell these guys are always grinding, and they have so many comps. And you know, Drake, this guy is playing Warrior, Rogue, Windwalker, like God knows what else. Hats off to them.
Yeah, I mean, when I had an interview with him like a couple of weeks ago, I asked, Drake about how he felt about being on his team, how, everybody was kind of calling him the best Windwalker right now, and everybody was super impressed with him. And he was kind of like super humble answer, like, I just kind of do whatever it takes to help my team. And I think we're definitely seeing that here today. This team, I mean, both of these teams have been so consistent throughout the circuit. So it's very fitting and not surprising at all that it's these two teams that take us to our first Game 5 of the day of the North American region. We only had 2 yesterday in Europe, so really a lot of these series haven't been going that far, but we are heading to a Game 5 here, and that map choice is going to be coming out very soon. And it seems like this draft process might be taking a little bit longer as well this time around, so I feel like you can bet that both teams are feeling a little nervous as we head into this game number 5 healing stat.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a case of both of them just insta-locking in every single game, full confidence. I think even the most confident and sure-footed team, when it comes to Game 5, you start to get a little bit of that trembling coming in. So Cloud9, they've been practically immortal throughout the circuit. Only Golden Guardians could dent them, and that was the most narrow series. And we saw what Cloud9 came with in this first series of the day today. Like they looked unstoppable, right? And Method NA, they're putting it to them, and it's impossible to not have a soft spot for Drake. When you were talking about it, I remember when Drake was kind of, I think in many ways, people saw him as secondary in North America to Chun-Li on the Windwalker, and maybe Trill as well. They used to play a bunch of 2s together, and he just grinded hard, and he's been playing so much. He's been really improving his game, working well as a unit with this team, and now also they were just one comp back in the day, right? They were just the Windwalker, the Fire Mage, and the Holy Paladin. Now they've got Prev, they're playing all kinds of different compositions, and they've really grown as a roster. And I think, for me, that's the most beautiful part of some of these AWC teams, you know, when they really find a solid foundation, grow it up, and Method NA very worthy of where they are here today. And if they could win this game against Cloud9, I think it would be considered, even still with all their success, an upset here. And they're just one game away from doing it, right, and advancing to that grand finals. So good for them, and it's going to be a banger of a game to finish this series.
Absolutely. I don't think there's a single team in this region as well that doesn't have a similar story as the one you just described here with Method NA. I feel like they've all been through like a journey, and they've all, you know, changed and improved and grown as a roster and as a team. And we've seen a lot of them try out new comps, new specs, working really hard, practicing a lot, especially within that circuit. And they've all just shown up, especially today. We're seeing some incredible games, some incredibly close games as well. And for these two teams, it's all coming to a head right here. Winner of this one, winner of this very next game, or winner of this series here, moving on to the grand finals. So very close for both of these teams. First game 5 of the day, like I said, and there's that comp from Method NA.
All right, now Cloud9, what do you? Is it going to be Mage Lock again? I mean, I was convinced with the Empyrean Domain Mage Lock, so I think they're going to do it, but they do have the option to bring Snuts, and nope, Snuts is going to stay on the bench. Chanimal coming in once again. Cloud9 relying on this Mage Lock Druid. If they can pull Drake out of stealth like they did on Empyrean Domain and just make it take forever for him to get to Chanimal, that actually could maybe turn the entire tide of the matchup, and I'm really looking at that. I can't believe this. The last time these teams fought, Method NA stood like no chance. Cloud9 was just thrashing them. But now they have a strat. They're coordinating their mobility very well. They're coordinating as a team very well, which is necessary. If it's just Drake going for kidneys, not coordinated with Brain, then he gets peeled away. But the fact that all three of them are working together now with this Rogue Mage Paladin is allowing them to connect to Chanimal, which is typically a target that nobody in the game ever wants to actually go after because he's so annoying to hit. But Method NA have crafted a strategy that actually allows them to hit what I would argue is like the most untouchable player in the game.
Yeah, even when I play against Chanimal on my Shadow Priest, and it's like I don't even need to be in melee range of him. He's super annoying to chase after. I used to play, you know, Mage Shadow Priest or Marksman Hunter Shadow Priest, and we were queuing to them all the time, and it was like, this guy is so finicky, let's just go on whoever he's playing with instead, and often that worked a lot better. But imagine playing a melee, especially a rogue, when you've got a Frost Mage, and this Resto Druid who keeps running around the pillar, re-stealthing, hop, stun, 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 bye. You know, it's like, it's brutal, and Drake has to play literally a perfect game in this one if he wants to win it. On the flip side, though, Cloud9, I mean, these guys are all playing very underrepresented specs, I think it's fair to say right now, and they also have to play a perfect game because it's Rogue Mage, right, on the other side. Like, we talked about how brutal Rogue Mage is, especially when you play the Warlock. Chanimal has to play the game of his life, they all do, because there aren't really any second chances in the upper bracket, at least, for this one.
I really like that you highlighted.
5. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I really like that you highlighted the fact that Chanimal is so hard to touch. But imagine you're trying to touch Chanimal, and then you're also your Brain, and you're trying to chase down Cubsy, which is essentially Chanimal but on a Druid. He's doing the exact same thing as well, just running away, and then Wealthy Man as well. Just a perfect storm here for this team. The way they've been working together with that Mage Warlock, and now their backs are against the wall. Winner here will be the first team to advance to grand finals. Chanimal using his trinket right there for the combustion. Vendetta's still going to be there in the back pocket. Wealthy Man gets kleptoed, and now they're going to go after Ceralium here a little bit more, actually. Big Chaos Ball coming in from Chanimal potentially. Another sheep there as well. Now looks like Drake trying to get a restuff, but Chanimal has his pet on him, so he's not going to be able to do that. Fear into another fear there onto Brain, so good crowd control. Now they set up Drake while Ceralium is line of sighting, and they drop Drake's HP a little bit here. Very, very good offense here, but now the kidney shot is going to be ready with Vendetta. How are they going to respond on the side of C9?
That was a really nice Ursul's Vortex. The death from above from Drake would have chased Chanimal, but instead he got Vortex back, placed in foot, but still connection here. And that's a really early, unending resolve, questioning the actual resolve of Chanimal. He's been very greedy with that cooldown in every single game, but Method NA, they have the pressure. They're on top of Cubsy on this big map, which is not the situation you want to be in, as Cloud9 has already significant cooldowns have been forced out the way, Sid.
This is looking shaky for Cloud9. I'm not certain that they can pull this off from this position. On any resolve out of the way, Smoke Bomb going to come up a bit faster. Vendetta going to come up a bit faster. Death from above from Drake here, trying to reconnect into the kidney shot. Good coordination. Cubsy and a Polymorph. It's 3 versus 1 right here. On to Chanimal. Will he be able to survive? He uses the Soul Shape, trying to blink out into midfield and escape from Drake. Drake shadow steps over. Another Soul Shape, but there's tons of damage on Match Point. He portals around the corner. Cubsy trying to clutch out a heal. Doesn't have Nature's Swiftness. He's just trying to power through with heal over time effects. Desperation Shadow Fury on Drake into a bash, trying to stall his advance here. This is insane pressure from Method NA in Game 5.
Unbelievable attacks here coming out from Method NA, and guess what? Combustion. 5 seconds remaining on that cooldown here. Seralim's going to have it right now here. You can pull the trigger on the next kidney shot here. Chanimal has his trinket, but Smoke Bomb is going to be coming back up. So I don't know how they're going to respond to this. Cubsy has the Ironbark. He's going to have to try to pre-Ironbark to get a sheep onto Brain, to get a fear onto Seralium. This is how they're going to respond, by CCing the entire team and going after the rogue. But Drake there, not being taking so much damage here. Just going to be ducking away with the feint. Actually activated his Gladiator's emblem there, so he's going to be in a pretty okay situation here. Still 20 seconds though for his Vanish, still a long time for his Cloak of Shadows, but now preparing for the kidney shot here for Chanimal, and Chanimal is going to be very, very scared for this one. Vendetta also about to come up here in about 15 seconds. Seralium getting sheep though. Cubsy just running around here, dodging Seralium and dodging Brain here. They get a sheep onto Brain. They attack first on the side of Cloud9. Drake now has his Vanish, but he gets stunned up here by Cubsy. There's a Blessing of Protection. Now this is when they want to go pull the trigger, Adrian.
Yeah, it's what they want to do. Drake actually used his Shadow Step to kite away there. I would love to just seen them go more aggressive once again. That's a DFA on the Death Coil. That's a huge play potentially from Drake as they look to close this one out. There's no unending resolve for a little bit, but it is rotating back up. I think Method NA might have missed the opportunity, but the Smoke Bomb says otherwise. The Trinket, the portal coming in from Chanimal. Cubsy gets the re-stealth, gets away, and once again, perfect positioning from Cloud9 is what's going to keep them in the fight as they recover from another good offensive push potentially from Method NA.
All right, Brain's Mana not in a good position, no Cloak of Shadows, but Vendetta is rolling. He's running away. This is perfect for Cloud9. Suddenly that kind of desperate beginning stages is gone, and now look at, they have everything. As long as they stop Brain from drinking, they're in the best position they could possibly be, and they're even just smacking Brain with a Chaos Bolt to try and maximize their damage. Drake connects, but Cubsy is in position, stuns Drake. Fear cast by Chanimal. Drake trinkets out to go for a blind play. Cubsy trinkets blind instantly to Ironbark. Immediate response, but Wealthy Man finds a Polymorph on Brain. Drake is in trouble. Brain has to Divine Shield. He's not going to wait until it's too late this time around. Divine Shielding at a high margin of health to allow Drake to stabilize. Now there's Polymorphing Drake, blasting him out of it, just making it as annoying as possible, maximizing those diminishing returns. Polymorphs over on Seralium. Drake is trying to connect. Death from above over onto Chanimal. Ursul's Vortex is down so that Chanimal can port. Double Infernal Stun here on the Ursul's Vortex. Huge damage coming out from Cloud9. Is Drake going to be able to get the Cloak of Shadows off in time? Shadow stepping out of the fight. When you Shadow Step defensively, I don't think you can ever get back to Chanimal. I really am worried for Drake here. How on earth is he, if he even gets back, Chanimal's just going to port. I think Drake is pinned for a long time without being able to get back to a target.
Uh-oh, full sheep. You got a full sheep on the Brain. This could be the Cloak of Shadows here. If Wealthy Man can get a re-sheep here, it's going to be all about that counterspell Seralium, if you can land it or not. Looks like they're going to get it. And Drake here, though, has to use this Cloak of Shadows. Now Chanimal gets the Mortal Coil.
Oh, no.
Into a Fear here, potentially. Into a Bash. They got a Fear onto Brain. How's he going to respond? There's the sacrifice coming out from Brain. But he's still taking some damage there. It's not the ultimate sacrifice, it looks like. And Drake still getting spammed, dispelled here out of these Fears, out of these Sheeps. Now, finally, Shadow Step Kidney onto Chanimal. But Cubsy not in crowd control. Look at that Nova onto Brain. Look what Wealthy Man is doing. He's ice blocking just to slow Brain here from that Hammer of Justice, just to make sure that he can never land that. And Chanimal still taking a lot of damage here, but he's able to port away. Cubs is able to reposition. That was the combustion. And the way these guys are playing, I don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, long gone are the days of heavy dampening. This game doesn't have... there's no way there's 2 more minutes in this game. I don't believe it for a second. There's no cooldowns on Brain, no mana really either. On the flip side, Cubsy, you know, it just takes one good setup for the Rogue Mage. That's what we know. That's why it's so devastating. If they can get a Hodge on the Trinket, if they can get a Blinding Light at an effective time, that can really be game over, but it's so difficult. Cloud9 pinning them at the pillar. Wealthy Man with this Frost Mage pickup is just stopping Drake from playing the game. He can't get to his kill target. You see Shadow Fury's coming in, Chanimal getting a little bit aggressive here. is they're forced to throw a kidney shot over onto Wealthy Man, not the ideal target. They don't want to kill him. They want to go after Chanimal, but they just can't get the connection. And I agree with Sid. I think it might be too little too late here. Cloud9 in a perfect position. Method NA need a miracle.
All right, Drake Shadow Meld, Stealth, Shadow Step, Garrote, Kidney. They almost need to kill Chanimal with this setup. They're in shambles. No mana, very little defensive cooldowns. Cubsy's got a big heal in Iron Bark. Drake's going to have to retreat back behind the pillar. Wealthy Man on the right side, polymorphing Cerealium. Cubsy in bear form waiting for maybe a re-stealth. He's sneaking in. Cubsy could win the game here. Stun on Drake. They're getting in position. And they're just going to pull away. They don't want to risk it. Maybe Cubsy even drinks in this position. His mana is not phenomenal. It's better than Brain's, but they do have the option to pull away and drink. Brain is charging in to stop Cubsy from drinking. Drake Shadow steps in. Chanimal ports away, waiting for that Blessing of Freedom. And now, Drake, what are you going to do to reconnect with no Shadow Step? Wealthy Man could solo Drake behind the pillar here. Brain gets feared away. Drake hides with Feint, Crimson Vial, Battlemaster, trying to get as much health as possible. Maybe the Battlemaster wasn't necessary. He's trying to play as efficiently as possible, but he's not going to have that as an emergency. Brain sets for a drink. Nope, Blizzard is going to poke him around the corner. Cubsy is drinking. Cubsy is coming back into this fight with full mana. He's got an Unending Resolve Warlock, an Ice Form Mage. He's got Overgrowth, Nature Swiftness. Cloud9 are in the best position they could possibly be in at the moment, and Method NA need to work with nothing.
Yeah, just look how annoying it is for Drake here. He's just getting line of sighted by Chanimal over and over. He always has to use something to just get there. He had to use his sprint, but now he does reconnect, and he's going to have the death from above, as well as the Shadow Step here. So a lot of uptime potentially here for Drake. Fleshcraft's the fear right now. Chanimal now trying to get away. Drake, death from above. Now Chanimal's going to port. Actually would have liked to see him Shadow Step and then death from above, because if you death from above, it can actually follow the port there. But still, he's going to be able to just go ahead and re-stealth there. Gets the Garrote silence here. Still good pressure on the Chanimal. That was his Unending Resolve. That was a big cooldown out of the checkbook. Cubsy gets Kidney Shot right there. Chanimal now with Dark Soul looking for big pressure here potentially. Drake has the Cloak of Shadows though. Brain has no mana though. That's the big problem here. There's the Cloak of Shadows from Drake, and Chanimal still just gonna drag Drake away out in open field. Drake's looking for the blind, but Cubsy again just avoiding the blinds, avoiding the Hodges, avoiding Dragon's Breath, just running around, avoiding everyone, basically just trying to keep Chanimal in the game here. Iron Bark here onto Chanimal. No Unending Resolve for the Smoke Bomb here. Now Chanimal, what is he going to do? He's trying to make it out here. He has a lot of healing effects. No Kleptomania for those. And it looks like C9 are going to survive another sticky situation.
Yep, it looks like they will get away with it, though I do believe Chanimal used his human racial again, so that's one small victory, I suppose, on the side of Method NA. They'll be able to reliably hit those kidney shots for a bit, but Drake doesn't have the Cloak of Shadows. Brain just has a few more seconds on his Divine Shield. The sacrifice squeaks in before the Cyclone. Beautiful plays coming in to just about keep him alive. But that's a full polymorph, that's a Divine Shield, and that's the last of Method NA's arsenal here. 9 minutes into the game, dampening, stacking. Both these healers are going to have a tough time, but Brain, he goes aggressive, he sees the opportunity as Divine Shield. That's enabling him to cross the map. They get the black light. That's
that death from above
on the portal from Drake. That might be
it,
ladies and gentlemen.
Oh no!
It's so low full polymorph, and they've pulled off the miracle. Method NA. How on earth did they manage to win that game?
Unbelievable. Method NA hang on with zero mana, with nothing in their spellbooks, no cooldowns, but they pull off the miracle. Death from above on the gateway, or on the demonic circle right there, following Chan there, and then manages to reconnect. They get the Kleptomania, they get the kill there when it looked so bad for them just a minute ago, and they're gonna be the first team to advance to the grand finals.
How is Drake so calm? Did you see him? Just like a tiny little smile at the end there from them as they won what looked like an incredibly difficult series. My goodness, just real calm, cool, and collected, that dude. But Method NA taking away that victory, and like we said, moving on to the grand finals. Well done to those guys. We're going to get that game number 5